So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video where today we're finally going to check out Incarnon Soma Prime. You can get the Incarnon adapter for the Soma Prime from the Steel Path version of the circuit game mode. Once you have the adapter, and the Soma of course, you can take them over to Cavalero in the Chrysolith to combine them. This also requires 20 Pathos Clamps, which you get from the Autoworm boss fight, 60 Rune Marrow, which you can find in the Undercroft, and 60 Sylphelia, which is a flower that grows on the hillsides in the Paradox. This allows you to evolve the weapon and it unlocks its Incarnon mode. You can build the Incarnon meter by headshotting enemies, and once you have any level of charge, you can press the secondary fire button to activate it. In this mode, the weapon basically turns into a fully automatic shotgun that fires 8 pellets per shot with a very tight spread, and you get more damage and more crit damage. However, you do lose a lot of fire rate, you lose some crit, and the status chance is pretty mediocre as well. Now, before you can take full advantage of the evolutions with the Soma, you're gonna have to do a few things with it. Firstly, you have to finish a solo mission with the Soma Prime, then you need to kill 100 enemies with its Incarnon mode, and finally you need to kill 10 enemies within 8 seconds 10 times. As far as the evolution options go, the first one has you choose between Fortress Salvo for some base damage, and then Extra Punch Through if you have over 450 armor, and Fortifying Bloodshed, which gives you slightly less base damage, but then you get 100 overshields on a bleed kill. The second evolution is a choice between Kinetic Battle for negative weapon recoil, Practiced Grip for 50% extra accuracy, and Rapid Reinforcement for 50% reload speed. And last but not least, we have a choice between Fresh Havoc, where if you reload from an empty magazine, you get 6 extra base damage and it stacks up to 2 times, Fatal Affliction for 40% extra direct damage per status type affecting the enemy, and Zeroed In for extra crit multiplier. I ended up going with a combination of Fortress Salvo because a lot of my Warframes have over 450 armor, and having 4 meters of extra punch through is really nice. Kinetic Battle because the Soma shakes around quite a bit as you fire it, and I topped it off with Zeroed In for the extra crit multiplier, though I'm pretty sure the base damage stacking is going to be better. I'm just a chronic reloader, so I almost never reload from an empty magazine. For the build, I ended up running with Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Galvanized Scope for crit chance, Malignant Force and Rhyme Rounds for vital, Hunter Munitions for slash procs from crit, Galvanized Aptitude for extra status, Vital Sense for crit damage, Fanged Fusillade to boost slash, and then Rifle Ammo Mutation just for good measure, as well as Primary Merciless for damage and reload speed. Now you can run Hata Satya now. It didn't used to work with the Incarnon mode, but they fixed that, so if you don't like Galvanized Scope, you can actually use stacking crit from the Hata Satya instead. The damage here is actually very nice, which is mostly due to the base damage evolutions, because the base damage in the Soma isn't all that great, so boosting that gives you a ton of extra DPS, which is also why I think the Fresh Havoc evolution, the one that gives you base damage if you reload from an empty magazine, might be the best damage-wise, because it's just more base damage. And now let's talk a little bit about the Incarnon mode. I don't like it. The damage doesn't seem that much better because you lose so much crit and so much fire rate, and the status, as I've mentioned, is also not that great in it. And it doesn't really change the way you play with the gun. It just has a less fire rate, which, last time I checked, is not more fun. So this is one of those rare Incarnon weapons where I actually prefer to use the weapon normally and not switch into Incarnon mode unless I'm recording a video where I'm trying to showcase it. Now don't get me wrong, it's not like it's bad or anything, the damage is fine, and you do build a meter pretty fast and you have a ton of shots in the Incarnon mode, which is always nice. It's just, I don't know, it feels very strange to suddenly lose a bunch of fire rate and crit and have your status jumbled up all at the same time. Even with that said though, I would still recommend you pick this up at some point. I just wouldn't prioritize it, because while the Incarnon mode is kind of the evolutions buff the Soma up quite a bit. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily prioritize it unless you're one of the few Soma Prime enjoyers. And that is pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you'd like to support the channel, you can check out the memberships and stuff down below, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.